Ark Survival Evolved is one of those games that simply transports you to an adventure in a world full of wonders. That is, if you have a good PC. For a long time I struggled to make this game run in my secondary machines. Not always I have a powerful PC to play in hand, and mobile doesn't quite do it. Well, I got tired and decided to put my programming skills to practice to make the low-poly Ark project. In the last video we ended up with 500 chickens on an island. For today's video we are going to set up an interaction system, and also, start the inventory system of the main character, preparing the way for gathering resources and all that good stuff. In order to compose the scenario, place the trees, rocks, and all that, I used a system that I developed for others' projects. In simple lines, it randomly places copies of an object around a determined point, while also making sure each one have its own random scale and rotation. But nothing really looks alive, it doesn't move at all. So, back into the shader graph editor. I made a shader to simulate the wind blowing through the grass. The trick here is to add random values to the position of the vertices and graduate this change along the height of the object. In this case, I'm using a gradient noise node to generate the random values. Now they behave pretty much as if they are been moved by the wind. Those little details like trees moving are sometimes a bit annoying to make right, but the overall effect is really great. However, to make it even more realistic, would be nice if the character was able to collect all these resources. The core of the collecting system is the interaction system. By the way, is always a good practice to make your systems the more generic as possible. Making an interaction system like this, for example, as simple as it may be, will be useful, for it can be reused later for other types of interactions, and not only gathering resources. This way I won't be needing to rewrite code all the time. So now the character can interact with those resources, which in its case should grant me an item, as I'll show you in a minute. The individual information of the items will be saved in a scriptable object. Scriptable objects provides a way to make this data accessible throughout the system and easily editable from the inspector. Well, I can create now all the various items I may, but can't keep them in hand, so it's time we make an inventory. The most basic element of this inventory is not an item, but a stack of items. Using a stack system we can pile items as we go and check for quantities much easier, also execute actions for a bunch of items at once. The stack can also hold other information such as quality, in case we are dealing with perishable items for example. The resources will have a stack of items inside it, that I will be able to get in a bit. Items ready, resources ready and inventory ready. Now we need to wrap it all up. Make the connections between those components. When close enough to a resource, the interaction manager let me know that I have something to interact with. In the moment of interaction I can check if I am interacting with a resource, and then get the item info I need. Mission completed. Or almost. At this stage this information is only available for visualization within the editor. It won't show my new items when the game is in play mode, unless I make an interface for it. So I went on and made a prototype of the inventory screen to hold and show me the information I need about my items. The inventory menu screen doesn't support dragging, nor it does much just yet, but my focus now is mostly to be able to visualize if the system is working. I also made a nice hand appear once I get close enough to something that I can interact with. It seems that everything is working. And I think that is gonna be all for today. Next episode we will give some attention to the creature's AI. Stay tuned. If you watched until here you will probably like the content I'll be making in the future. Consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel and activate the bell. That way you won't miss new updates. Also if you want to help the channel, need more content,
ou conteúdo em português,
check the links in the description. See you in the next one.